Hello, are you able to see this PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is day number 17, modeling of fixture using top-down assembly approach. Modeling of fixture using top-down assembly approach. In our last session, we discussed about how to call the existing component, how to move the parts, assembly constraints, duplicating the parts in assembly, that is pattern in assembly, also fast multi-instantiation, reuse pattern, check assembly constraint and degrees of freedom, explode assembly, that is there we understand scenes creation, the replace component, save and save as assembly. Okay, so this is our today's topic, sandwich jig assembly modeling. But this assembly we have to made with top-down assembly approach. So today's topic is understand serve management. The real use of serve management is in top-down assembly purpose. So the next point is create part, creating the product, component sub-assembly, rigid and flexible sub-assembly. So this is the point to discuss today. So let's move to the assignment. To make this assembly in the top-down assembly approach, what we need to do first is open the software and go to assembly environment, assembly workbench. So here you right click on assembly, go to the property. What is that assembly name? Sandwich jig assembly. Give the name here. Sandwich jig assembly. Okay. Now in the top-down assembly approach, we are creating the part. We need to design it separately inside the assembly only. So I need to create the part number one. That is, if you see this drawing, what is your first part? The first part is a base plate, which is this one. So we will design it that part. So in this assembly, we need to introduce the part. So click on part, select the sandwich jig assembly. One part just like the body in part design. Similarly in assembly, the parts are created. This is the blank parts. Here we need to give the name first. Go to the right click option on the part 1, click on property and give the name. What is its name? Base plate, part number 1. So instance name, base plate in part number 001. Okay, now just expand part number 1. We don't require this default datum place, just hide it. Now how to design the part inside the assembly? Simply double click on part number 1. After double clicking, you will be entered in part design environment. Now first procedure, this is a similar kind of part design. Introduce an access system, click on OK, and design that part. What is that base plate? So this is that drawing. Take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I go to this part design, select position sketch, take the front plane. Okay, hide this access system and create the half side profile using the profile tool. Now that size we need to introduce. The outer diameter 150, smaller is 110. So I introduce an axis. This is the diameter 150. This is the next diameter. Sorry, 110. Next, this axis and this line is coincident. Then this height is a 20. So what I'm doing the parts directly inside the assembly environment. Next, total height is 40. Okay, exit this sketch. Use the shaft. Okay, now there is a hole inside. Diameter 60, depth is 10. Select this arc. Select this pull command. Take this face. Diameter 60, depth is 10 already it is given. Okay, after that there is one more diameter 16 hole. I think that is a counter bore. Diameter 16 and base diameter is 7. Okay, so you go to the back side, take this face, there introduce the hole that should be located somewhere here. That is directly counter bore. So base diameter is given 7. Type, take here counter bore. Diameter is how much? 16 and depth is 10. Counter bore dia 16. Counter bore depth 10 and base diameter 7. Base diameter 7 and it is a through. So I'm taking this up to next. Now define its location. Go to this position sketch. Constraint this vertical axis and this point should be coincident. and the distance between this to this, the PCD is 40 na? So I draw the circle which is a construction circle, and diameter is given 40 for the PCD purpose. And now define this point over here. Also the center should locate here. Click on exit, see preview, click on OK. How many instances are there? Total 3. So use the pattern command, quantity, complete crown, quantity 3, and the axis of rotation is Z. Click OK. Just a minute. I want to create it again. Pattern. The objective pattern is this hole, direction Z, and take here complete crown option. 3 quantity. Okay. My first part is stored, created, not stored, but it is created. Now after designing my first part, I need to go to the second part. So I switch back to the assembly mode by double clicking on this root assembly. Double click over here. After that, second part, as per this drawing, the second part is the stem. So you go back to the software. I first open the drawing first. This is the drawing of stem. This diameter is 54 and this one is 60. Okay. So I need to design one more part. So click on the part, take the sandwich jig assembly. One another part is introduced. Now anybody from you, can you read these two statements? And as per your reading, tell me what should I do, yes or no? Anybody want loudly speak and read what is this given?
Do you want to define a new origin point for the new part? Click Yes to define the origin part of a component or a point as the new part origin point. Click No to define the origin point of the assembly as the new part origin point.
What should I do, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So what it means? The origin will be default, zero origin here. And if you want to switch origin of new part something over here, then you press no and define that origin. But I am taking today yes. Okay. Next time I will show what will happen for new. No. So I'm taking yes. So your default origin location is 0 again. This one. Okay. Now this part is introduced. Give the name of this part. What is this part number? 002. Sorry. What is the part name? Stem. Part number 002. Next. we will design this again using the shaft command. So I don't require this. I will hide everything. Even the previous part access system, I don't require it. So I will hide this. Next, how to enter it in part mode. Double click on 002 number. Okay, when you double click on the part, you will see the part environment. And you want to go back to assembly, simply double click on assembly. Okay, so I'm going to work on part. So I double click there. Then we need to design the part inside it. Currently there is nothing data available in this part. Whatever the data you will see, that is the another data. It's totally blank. So I introduce access system here at again 0 location, and now I'll active this reference purpose. Okay, I just measure this diameter. It is how much? It is diameter 60. Diameter is 60, which is matching to something this one. You can say this one. Okay, so by taking previous part reference, I can directly design this diameter, and that is actually fitted. If you see this drawing, that is fitted inside it, this particular base plate object. So what is the depth of this base plate? 10. So this particular second number part is get fitted inside the diameter of 60, the distance of 10 mm. Okay, so I go back to assembly and I directly select the sketch on this face. No need to create the profile on the your axis system. Directly I get the location. Now use this project command. Where is project? Yeah. Use this project command. Click OK. Exit this. That height is how much? Diameter 60, height is 40 from the base. So I use pad. Okay, but if you see this project option, there should not be any circle I want, so I off it. I delete this. Use a project. Only outer profile I want, so only outer circle I selected. Then use the pad command inside it. The depth is 40. Depth is 40. Then next one is again the diameter. It is 54. That diameter we can design on this face. Circle 54. Oh, sorry. 54. And again depth is 40. Now if you hide this part, you can see this component. Again on this, there is a diameter 60. The depth is how much? 13. So select this, create a circle, or you can use a project, no problem. Use directly project 3D element. Already we have 60 diameter and pad and the distance of 13. Again this face. There is 54 diameter. So use a project 3D element again. Select this. Okay. Exit, and that height is, I think it is not mentioned. We'll assume it.
20.
20.
Yeah, it is mentioned. Fine. So it is a 20. It is 20. Okay. Next, there is a chamfer here. 4 by 30-degree chamfer. Four or two, just a minute.
545.
Yeah, 5 by 45 degree. This is something different. Fine.
Sir, pad 2 diameter is
50?
yes, sir.
Yeah, it is 50. Correct. This one. Okay. After that, there is again chamfer over here, but it is not mentioned. Let us assume it is 1. It become 1. After that, is it given? Hello?
Bedford diameter 54.
This one, na?
हाँ
Okay, it is 50 here. So now see how to break this link. Right click on this, mark object, isolate. This is your simple profile, but there is no center mark for this. So you click the point here, and this point and this circle, make them relation concentric, and convert this point into reference. That dimension is, you said, 54, correct? And now I need that point over here. So I'm not drawing the circle, already presented circle we converted into normal entity. Okay, exit this. Okay, the second part is defined now. We can see. Go back to switch sandwich jig assembly here. Okay, few things is still pending in this part. What is that? There is a hole inside it. Center hole. The diameter is 20 m20. Depth is 45. So you go back to second number part. Double click. I will hide this previous part and use the command hole. Hole is located to the center of this R. So I select this. What is that size? M20 45 depth. Go back to thread, select thread, use direct thick pitch. Okay, M4, M, how much? M20, M20, and depth, thread depth and hole depth. becomes same 45. 45. This is 45, and there is a B bottom at angle 118. See this preview, click OK. Next hole is there, that is its size M6, 25 mm depth. So we create that command hole, select this face, you can place currently anywhere. That size is M6 and depth is how much? 30.
25 mm thread depth and 30
Yeah,
mm
30
the hole
hole
depth.
depth, hole depth, correct. So hole depth is 30 and thread depth is 25. That angle is given. This is a not given angle. Let us assume it 118 degree. Preview. Go back to position sketch now. Draw a circle because PCD is mentioned. Draw a circle. Then select this sketch. Send sorry, not sketch, constraint. This point and this point is coincident. This one and this one is coincident. And this diameter PCD, how much given? 40, na? Yeah, it is 40. So diameter is 40. Now your position is finished. Exit the sketch. Click on OK. This is get created. After that, double click on main assembly. Active this part using show option. These two parts are assembled, but it is not constrained. It is not constrained. Okay. What is the next part inside it? You can see that assembly. Some fasteners are get fitted. Fastener number 3. What is that? M6 long screw. Fasteners are get fitted over this hole. M6 hole. Just pass from here. M6 hole. To lock these two parts. To lock these two parts. There is a fasteners. So does I require to design the fastener inside the assembly environment or not? What should I do? I create third number part and start to design fasteners. Yes or no? So in this assembly, what should I do? Should I create one more part for fastener? Hello?
Yes.
Yes or no? I
Yes.
create yes. I create third number part and give the name fasteners. Answer is no. Generally, fasteners are not designed using top-down approach because fasteners are standard parts. The parts which are not standards that you have to design in the assembly itself. Okay, in that situation only we have to design using top-down assembly approach. But the lots of mechanical components such as fasteners, pulleys, washers, V-belts, okay, screws, all are standards one. In that situation, simply call and place. That is bottom up. Okay. When the part design is totally new, non-standard parts is there. In that scenario, we have to design the parts inside assembly only. but the parts are standard one. Even though engine parts are also standard, piston that is also standard. Simply call and place. Okay, so fastener is not expected here to design it. Whatever the design separately standard ready-made part is there, you need to call and assemble. I will do it here. So you use this existing component option. Click on this. The fasteners is look already placed here. I just opened day number 17. Yeah, this is that path. And what is that uh, part number? Number 3, M6 Turdna. Long screw 1 or 2. Check it here. Number 3, long screw 1. So I directly call from my design, which is already stored. So it is called up here. Okay, this approach you already know, that is a bottom up approach. Okay, so I move this part in different location and get assembled here using constraint. What is third constraint? Rotation. So how can I lock that? Using angle constraint. This plane and this plane become parallel and update. All of the axis system, the part is there. And how to repeat this 3 times? How to repeat this 3 times? Reuse pattern, but there should be pattern created in this part. I think already pattern we are done, right? So I use this, but only you need to ensure that where is your original hole. Yeah, at correct location I placed it. You should not place this bolt over here because your original hole is located on this location. At original location of hole only you have to assign the fasteners, and these two are the instances of pattern. So now I'm going to use reuse pattern option. Okay, generate it along with constraints. This is the part and this is the instances, and click on OK. So this is, I can say, sandwich jig assembly unit 1. I rename this. I divide this entire assembly into 2 units. Sorry, this is my unit number 1. Okay, and there is one more unit number 2. I divide into second part, which is above this particular second number part. What is this? Part number 6, part 4, 5, etc. That all are I'm considering unit number 2. So my entire assembly I divide it into 2 parts. First is the main assembly is this, and there is a sub assembly which is top side portion. I simply create sub assembly separately. So I go back to assembly now. Okay,
So show the fasteners drawing.
fastener drawing I will tell you. Now next part is second unit. Go to this mechanical design, assembly design, and there I give the name property, and what is that name? Assembly name is sandwich jig assembly, unit 2. Now my first part inside this is part number 4. What is that number 4? Jig plate. So I will design that part first. Okay, so click on this part, click here, expand this, give the name here, part name. What is that part number 4? Jig plate. Jig plate. Part number 004. Okay, I will off all these planes. Double click on part 4, insert access system current off. Okay, then next. Create the profile. That drawing I will open it. Okay, sandwich trick gel pet. Okay, this one is that part. Take a screenshot of this part. Over. Now take it is complete drawing. Over. Now we'll start to design this part. What is the approach to design this? I think there is a one circle of that diameter is 210. You take the sketch, hide this, draw a circle, diameter is 210. Exit the sketch, add material. At what height? Height it is how much it is? 25. Correct? Is it 25 or not?
Yes, sir. 25.
Yes. Preview. Okay. Next, there is a center hole. That diameter is 54 through. 54 through. That is through size. So what I'm doing here, I created a separate unit by opening a separate file. But my problem here to get this 54 size, diameter 54 size, I do not get previous part references. That is a drawback over here. So what is the benefit in the top-down assembly? If you directly start this sub-assembly creation inside this only, unit number 1. Okay, why I'm creating that separate unit number 2, just to show you what is the problem there if you do that method. Okay, that method is not wrong, but you must know the each and every dimensions carefully. But by taking previous part dimensions, if you want to design something else, then what the top down says to you that directly take this assembly and inside this assembly only start to create part as well as start to create sub assembly also. But here what I done, I create the subassembly using the new file. Okay, but what top-down assembly says to you, do not do that. Directly introduce subassembly from here. That's why this our challenge today is taking this particular subassembly management. What is a component subassembly and product subassembly? So this is the creating product. This is also a subassembly. One word is missing here. A creating product subassembly and component subassembly. So I'm going to create the unit number 2 inside unit number 1 itself. So now see what to do. I'm doing the same thing. Simply select this product. Okay. Click over here. Product number 1 is created. Give the name here. Sandwich jig assembly unit 2. And the part number is 00. You can say A because this is what an assembly unit. It's not a part. This is the subassembly. Okay. Now inside subassembly, I need to design the parts similar kind of this one. This assembly, there is a part. Similarly, same thing we need to design here. Okay. So I need to double click on this, or you can use this directly part. Now instead of selecting unit number 1, you have to select unit number 2 so that the part will be inserted inside unit number 2. The same message will appear. What should I do? Say yes, right? Then now here you change the name. The part number 4, what is that? What is this name? Drill jig plate. Jig plate. Part number 004, right? Already exists somewhere. Okay. Now next, the procedure is the same. You need to double click here, hide all planes, introduce the axis system, current off. Okay. Now where you want to design that? By taking this previous part reference. Okay, so you go for this part.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So why there is a need for creating a sub-assembly in a assembly?
Management point of view, simple. That's why management point of view, subassembly creation is a simple. So if you divide this entire subassembly, similar kind of lathe machine, if you consider lathe machine, there is different sub units. Like there is a headstock subassembly is different, tailstock assembly is different. Okay, and you take subassembly and mount it on the lathe bed. Okay, similarly, management point of view, if you divide or segregate sub different units, then it is better. Okay, so here are number of parts are attached here, and here number of parts are attached there. I divide it into two parts, top side portion and bottom side portion, and then assemble it separately. Okay, so now I'm going to open this. Okay, and here take this sketch. Just a minute. This is that profile. What is the diameter? 210. You go to the sketch, select this face, click OK, go back, position is not correct. Okay, create a circle. Diameter is how much? 210. 210. Exit. How much its depth? 25. Use pad. 25. Okay, you can take decision whether it is inside or outside. If you do inside, then the part is clashing, so it should be outside, upward direction, not downward. It is clashed over there, you can check. So it should be upward. Click on OK. After that, there are some other features are pending. There is a center hole. So to create hole center, you can use directly hole option, or you may use the extrude pocket option, not extrude, pocket option. Okay, so I'm taking this previous part reference to design the hole. Select this sketch, take this face. Okay, rotate this. Diameter 54 is which one? This one or this one? I will check here. Yeah, out one, this one. So you take here project option. Okay, projection of this dia. Okay, circle is projected there. You can check the diameter here. It is a 54. You may create hole also, no problem. And then use a pocket up to next. Preview. Okay. Okay. Next one. There is one more hole, that diameter 25. Select hole. Take this. Okay. Move this here. Diameter is how much? 25. And depth is how much? 2. So use up to next. And its location, I think a PCD is given. Can you tell what is its PCD? PCD 160. 160. And this point and this should be coincident, right? Sorry. Okay. Exit the sketch. See preview. How many instances are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 quantity. So use a pattern, which is a circular pattern. Select this feature. Select the axis of rotation is Z. Complete crown. Quantity 6. Quantity 6. Preview. Okay. Okay. Some other features are also there that we will design later. Okay. So this is last feature I will build it. What is its diameter? 17, and the base dimension M12. Okay. So you create the hole here. Move this location something here. That thread dimension. Choose thick size M12. M12.
Counter bore.
And there is a counter bore. And the diameter is 17. Depth is, counter bore depth is 8.
8.
This is 8. Okay. Now its location, position 42. 42. From where? I'll hide this first. This to this distance is 42, and this one coincident. Now exit this preview. Okay. Yeah, it is arranged like this. After that, you after design this all parts, you go back to the next part. What is the next part? What is get fitted inside it? Fifth number part. What is jig bush? So we'll open that drawing of jig bush. Jig bush. This is that drawing. Okay. By taking this previous part reference, I directly design diameter 25 and 18 size jig bush. Okay. So you go back to assembly, introduce one more part where to introduce the sandwich jig. Say yes and give the name. What is its name? Part number 5. This is jig bush. Jig bush, and this is part number 5. Okay. I will hide these planes and double click on this part. Now you are entered in that part. Okay, so you take the sketch, that size is given 25 outer dia. How much this size? 25. Diameter is 25, means it is get fitted here. So I take this sketch, take this face. Okay, okay. Go back to this. This is horizontal, yeah, vertical. Now it is correct. Now you take this project option, select this. Okay. Exit. What is its size? Height is 25. Height is 25. So make them pad. But the problem is this sketch should be start from the bottom side. So I change the sketch support and take it over here. And now you define this pad height in reverse direction 25. 25 plus 5 you can say, that is 30. Now again there is a sketch here, take this reference. Okay, and create a circle. This is the concentric, and that diameter is how much? This diameter 35. This is 35. Exit, add material. Take this reverse direction 5 mm. Preview. Okay. Now there is a hole inside it. this countersunk hole diameter is 18. So create the hole, select this face, the type is countersunk, the dimension is 90-degree angle, base 18 degree, and depth is how much? Not mentioned, we'll assume it. Okay, it's let's say 4, and depth it is a through up to next. Diameter 18. Preview. Okay, this part is created. Okay, you go back to assembly now. How to enter it in assembly? Just double click here. Hello. Okay, so you go back to main assembly. Now my question is to you, is any part from this are stored somewhere or not?
Not.
No, because we are created directly here. Now the question is how to store. Last time we discussed about save management. Now use this option, save management. Okay, which assembly you want to store? Unit 1 or unit 2? If you use unit 2,
Unit
only
1.
sub-assembly will store, and if you use unit 1, entire things will be stored. So I'm using unit number 1, save as. Listen carefully what I'm talking. I'm using the save as functionality in the day number 17. I create a folder here. Day number 17A. Double click. The files is still not stored, so I click save. Okay. So during sub-assembly, if you remember which option I used, this second number, product sub-assembly. Okay. And I use the propagate directory option. Then what different files you will get? You will get a file of main assembly. You will get a file of sub-assembly. You will get different files of parts along with standard parts. So that is also get duplicated in current location. So click on OK. Do it again. Save as. Yeah, unit 1. Propagate directory. Okay. Okay. Now you can check your file. Day number 17A. What files you will see here? This is all parts. This is the unit number 1. Are you find unit number 2? Just a minute. Yeah, this is unit number 2. What the unit number 2 part component name is given 00A. Are you see this? Only numbers will show. Are you see this 00A? This is unit number 2 and this is unit number 1. So every files you will get it when you use this assembly option, product sub assembly. The same thing you can do it using component sub assembly. Same thing, instead of product sub assembly, you created component sub assembly and inside that introduce the different parts in it. But the problem is you don't get a separate file just like this 00A. You don't get product 1 sub assembly separately in file formats. You will see in the assembly but not seen in this option. When you open it and try to store this, the product 1 you will not get it here. Okay, now you tell me which one is a better option, either to go with component subassembly or product subassembly. I will show you by saving this. Use save management. Unit number 1, save as. My expectation is product number 1 should also be saved. Okay, save this. Click yes, say yes. Propagate directory, say yes. Okay. I think already the name is there. That's why it is asking. I'll store it in different location. 17B. So here what I expect, I need all files along with product number 1. Let's see what will happen. What is asking? Impossible to save the two documents with the same part name. I think the part names are same. Yeah, I will change here. Now try to store this. Save as. Yeah, sorry, not save as. Save management. Save as. B. Save this. Propagate directory. Now you can see that. What is expectation? It should be shown a separate file of subassembly 00D, 00B, like that. Okay, I'll open that file. What are the files you will get? 00A, what is that? Unit number 1. What is 0B? The parts inside the component subassembly. 01, these are the all parts. And this is main assembly, but where is 00D? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing the 00D file here? Hello? इथं आहे का? दिसतंय का?
No.
No. 00A. 00A is there.
Yes, sir, we can see that.
Yeah. It means that when you use product subassembly, that file will be stored separately as assembly. But if you use component subassembly and try to store it, you don't get the separate file. So when you want to open it 00A, directly you can open separately from here. And that is what the benefit of subassembly. So next time, whatever the parts I want to design, that I directly open through this 00A. I now don't require to open entire assembly here. I don't need to open this unit number 1 and start to design the remaining parts. Okay, so the parts currently are very small, but if you think in industry there are thousands of parts and there are thousands of systems inside the cars. There is a braking system, there is a engine system, there is a chassis system, different units are there. And if somebody are working on engine domain and they are not interested in chassis related parts and they are trying to open the entire part or entire car to modify the engine parts, then it is very hard to open it because lots of parts are there and it will take software will take lot of time to open it. Imagine if you want to open only entire lathe machine and if you want to open only tailstock, which one is better? Inside the lathe assembly, if you want to open the tailstock or if you want to open the entire lathe machine, which one is better in the software management point of view? I want to work on lathe tailstock. In that situation, no need to open entire lathe machine. I need to open only tailstock, and there only some modifications are there. So your opening time will get reduced when you use the sub-assemblies methodologies. Okay, so the assembly units are different and lots of parts are there. In that situation, the sub-assembly creation is better option. When I open this unit number 2 separately, sorry, this one is that 00A. When I open this unit number 2 separately, I will get only these parts. I can continue to design the parts from this reference only. No need to open entire main assembly. Okay, because in industry there are complexity in the assemblies, lots of parts are there. It will take a time to open it. So it is always better to go with product sub assembly to manage your data. Now clear your answer, clear your question what you asked earlier. What is the need of sub assembly? Just for management point of view, it's not necessary assemblies sub assemblies there. You can continue work inside main assembly itself, but if you try to open entire system, it will take the time, and your intention to modify something related to unit number 2, unit number 3, in that situation all units not necessary to open it. Clear? Understood the use of save management? When you do propagate directory, automatically your all supporting files will get attached to the assembly location. Okay, so always in industry save management option is used, and that is the difference between subassembly of product subassembly and component subassembly. So what topic we covered today? Save management, creating the part inside the assembly, creating the product subassembly, creating component subassembly. Okay, now rigid and flexible subassembly, it's quite simple. I show you quickly what is that meaning. Now there are two units. Okay, if you try to move this part separately, what is happening here? What is happening? I will open move this part also. I'll open move this part also. What is difference between this moment and this moment? Are you observe something here? I move this. This is what subassembly, right? I do it again. Move, manipulation. Try to move vertical direction. What happened? Hello. Is any difference between this type of movement and this type of movement? I move another part. And I move here. What is difference? Hello. The parts are moving along with this second part inside subassembly. If you observe, this is subassembly. There are two parts in it. Both parts are moved, not individual. Both parts are moved. Both parts are moving, right? And if you use this, only individual parts are moving, right? So can I move this subassembly part individually? That is the question. In that situation, use this rigid subassembly. Currently it is rigid. That's why both are moving. Now make them flexible. Select this flexible. Click on assembly, which is subassembly. Okay, only subassembly can be rigid or flexible. But default assembly will be always rigid. Sorry, it will be always flexible. Only subassembly will be rigid or you make them flexible. But main assembly is always flexible. It cannot be rigid because parts are moving individually. So now you can see it is not moving this part. Okay, you have to move this separately. But when I do again make rigid, just select this, click over here. Okay, now try to move this. Both are moving. That is the meaning of rigid. And when you do the flexible, then separate color is indicating. It means individual parts we can move it. Okay, so I don't need right now flexible. I press Ctrl Z. So when you want to move sub-assembly parts separately, independently, make them flexible and move it. Otherwise, it will be considered a rigid sub-assembly, and it will be moved both at a time or all at a time. Clear? So here is that button. Now I'm going to use this. Okay, I don't want to store the files right now. Okay. The problem is here. This part is not mated over here, but it is expected to mate. You can use a constraint separately to contact them. Mate contact constraint. So let us stop now. Whatever the further parts are there, we'll discuss in the next classes. Okay. Understood this approach. When to choose top down and when to choose bottom up. Can you tell anyone? When to use top down assembly, when to use bottom up assembly.
And there is a complex part in top-down assemblies.
The parts design is totally new. That is not standard parts. Not standard parts. And we need a reference of previous parts. Then top down is better. But the parts are standards like fasteners. Okay. Then your pulleys, shaft, all standard parts. Maximum mechanical parts are standards. Then that situation we need to simply design and call it. That is the bottom up. Okay, here I earlier called this part. What is that? Fastener, because fastener are standard. No need to design it. It's not new design. It is already there. Nut is already there. So we need to call and place it. That is what bottom up. Okay. But this part is not standard. This top part is not standard. We need to design it by taking previous part reference. That is through top down assembly. So the part is totally new, then go for top down. And if it is a standard part, go for the bottom up. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Can I stop now?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Now connect me on Google Meet.